Hello, my name is Andy and I am the village idiot. I'm on with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Welcome to the penultimate parish in Bolsover, and once again we're in a mining area. A mining area in Bolsover? Surely not. Yeah, it certainly was one of those districts that was dominated by mining, and this pit wheel here shows you that this is no exception. But as well as mining, there's also something really interesting that's beyond this fence and down an embankment, which we'll be talking about during the course of this video. Welcome to Clowne. Clowne is another civil parish with town status in the Bolsover district of Derbyshire, with a population recorded at the 2011 census of 7,590, a figure which includes Harlesthorpe. Most definitely another town with its population on the rise. It's estimated that the actual current population is around 8,400. Clowne forms part of the Bolsover parliamentary constituency and lies 9 miles northeast of Chesterfield and 7 miles southwest of Worksop. So it's always helpful to find one of these things hanging around a place. This has 6 photographs of how Clowne used to be in times gone by, and a heck of a lot of information. Some of it about the Anchor, which is the pub which this is on the side of. There you go, the Anchor. And a lot of that information you'll find in this video at various points. It's mentioned in the Domesday Book as Clune. The name is derived from the Celtic word Clun for a river, and in Harlesthorpe there's a street called Clune Street which has a playing field named after it, both of which allude to the former name of the place. Clowne was originally spelt as Clune, C-L-O-O-N-E, and has been spelt in various ways over the last 1,000 years, including Clown, C-L-O-U-N-E, Clone, Clowen, C-L-O-W-E-N, and most recently Clown without the E. At various points on my walk around the town, I spotted some references to Clown without the E, even today. It has frequently been noted on lists of unusual place names. The first recorded mention of Clown Manor was in 1002, when the owner was Wilko Spot. The Domesday Book reference is then only superseded by a further mention of the manor in 1485, a gap of just under 400 years, when Clowne was associated with the Bolsover manor. The manor would eventually pass to the Cavendish family and through marriage to the Bentinck family, better known as the Dukes of Portland. In the 17th century, Clowne was a rural farming community. Some buildings still stand from this date, notably the Anchor Inn and Sheridon's Yard. When the plague struck Clowne in 1586 and 1606, victims were buried away from the village at Monument Field or Plague Field, the same field which was mentioned in the Barlborough episode, giving its name to the Monnies Trail. Modern-day Clowne has a varied population. At the time of the 2001 census, there were just over 3,300 people in employment who were resident here. Of these, 19.84% worked in the wholesale and retail trade, including repair of motor vehicles, while 17% worked within manufacturing, 12% worked within the health and social sector, and 9% were employed in education. Clowne sits between the parishes of Barlborough and Whitwell in the north of Bolsover, and as a result lies in the northeast corner of Derbyshire. The main road through the town is the old Mansfield to Rotherham Road, now the A618, at its junction with the 616 from Newark to the M1 motorway near Barlborough. The town is surrounded by rolling farmland, mostly arable, and land to the northwest of Clowne is a green belt. The parish covers a fair size, some 1,825 acres of mainly limestone and clay, watered by numerous springs. Within the boundaries is Harlesthorpe Dam, which covers about 4 acres, and there's a Chalybeat spring called Shuttlewood Spa in the neighbourhood as well. Historically, Clowne, like so many others in the northeastern corner of Derbyshire, was in the hundred or wapentake of Scarsdale. Clowne gave its name to an old rural district council, which was part of the Worksop Rural Sanitary District in 1894. This consisted of the 4 civil parishes of Barlborough, Clowne, Elmton and Whitwell, and when it was abolished in 1974, all 4 would then form part of the current Bolsover district. Politically, Clowne is part of the Bolsover parliamentary constituency, which at present is held for the Conservative Party by Mark Fletcher, who has been the MP here since 2019. Until this, veteran Labour Party MP Dennis Skinner held the seat from 1970. As the population has expanded, so too has the size of the town, and perhaps it's no surprise there have been numerous new build areas in recent times. The most recent of these will be taking a little drive around later. On average, you'd expect to have to pay about £163,000 for a house here. Well, one thing's for sure, if you live in Clowne, you're certainly not short of amenities. This is extremely well served as towns go. Behind me is a massive Tesco, and opposite is an Aldi and a petrol station. There's even a big Wilko's over there. Let's see how well Clowne really is served. Public transport wise, Clowne is served by 4 buses. These are the 53 and 53A, which run to Mansfield, and the 77 and 77A services towards Chesterfield. All 4 buses stop here at what is effectively the centre of the town, outside the main supermarkets. Most of Clowne's amenities are clustered together around a pretty tight town centre. Recently, some regeneration of the town centre has taken place, including the opening of a large Tesco supermarket, a Wilko store and an Aldi supermarket. The Tesco store also has a petrol station as well. Just around the corner from these is a new building which houses some more local shops and amenities. But this is not all the town centre has to offer. In fact, much like Shirebrook and South Normanton, the town centre may well be dominated by the large chain stores we've just mentioned, but in truth there are still quite a number of local independent retailers. Clowne is certainly not short of a thing, and there's plenty for everyone. So I just tried a second ago to capture this building that's behind me, but the sun's kind of in shot, so I can't really get a good shot of it. It's a pub, it's called the Crafty Clown. I think I've probably got it there now. There you go. There are a number of pubs in Clowne, and it's nice to see they're all still very much in business. The Anchor is perhaps the one that caught my eye the most, having, as it does, the information board we saw earlier on its side. It dates from 1820 and it once had a smithy. This is the Nag's Head on North Road. And not too far away is the Clowne Liberal Club out towards the community centre. And as a mining area, Clowne also had a miners' welfare to go with these, but it was demolished in 2017. This building is Carrick Vets on Church Street, which was once the site of the 2 mills that once stood in Clowne, owned by Bournes. Clowne's community centre now, and although Clowne no longer has an active colliery, there's still a strong and vibrant community spirit synonymous with pit villages. The area this sits in is known as Villa Park, although football is certainly not the reason why it's called this, and it has nothing to do with any claret and blue football clubs from Birmingham. It features quite a lot. As well as the very prominent community centre, we also have a large park and play area which is also known as Villa Park. There's a library and a doctor's surgery, and some years ago there was a surgery for this part of the town called Shawlands, which lasted until the late 1990s. It's honoured in the new build street close to this called Shawlands Way. Villa Park also has a separate area called the Sidings, which is significantly named as well, seeing as we're still to see quite a bit of railway history that this town has to offer. So as you'd expect, most of Clowne's amenities are right here in the town centre, as are most of the interesting things as well, which we'll get to very shortly. The one thing that's not though is the church. Now I'm on Church Street, and to get to the church we've got to take a drive that away because it's a fair way out of town. Let's go and find it. The Church of St John the Baptist is situated on an ancient ridgeway and dates from Norman times. The south doorway and chancel arch are of Norman architecture. It was partially rebuilt in the early English and perpendicular styles. The Norman chancel was rebuilt and enlarged in 1955 when 2 chapels were added, one dedicated to those who lost their lives in the coal mines. The tower contains a ring of 6 bells, and along with the medieval cross, the church is the oldest structure in the town. It was built in 1138, originally dedicated as All Saints. The church stood adjacent on the Ridgeway route between Mansfield and Worksop Priory. The church's dedication was soon changed to John the Baptist, and the first rector was John M. Leicester, who was recorded in 1299. Throughout the church's history, there have been a total of 49 rectors. The tower dates back to the 15th century, with the bells added at various times, with the first being installed in 1591, then 1616, and finally 1812. During 1955, when the church was extended to accommodate new choir stalls, sanctuary and organ, it was around this time that those additional chapels were created on the side. One of these was used as a children's chapel and the other a miners' chapel, specifically remembering the men who lost their lives in the Creswell colliery disaster of 1950, which we covered in the Elmton with Creswell episode. The church also features stained glass windows and 2 paintings by Jean-Baptiste Boutat, the 10 Commandments and the Ascension. The Creswell colliery disaster is also remembered on a stained glass window within the chapel. Alongside the churchyard is something known only by Google Maps as Clowne Linear Park, a wide open green space running adjacently. North Road Methodist Chapel is another religious building here too. Early recorded evidence shows the existence of a primitive Methodist chapel in 1829, although the Ecclesiastical Census return of 1851 dates the primitive Methodist chapel to 1834. A new building was opened in 1877. The Salvation Army off Church Street is another religious building, and there's also a meeting place for the Christadelphians in Clowne too. Sports-wise, we'll be ending this video later at the home ground of the local football team, but just off Mansfield Road and High Lees Road is Clowne Town Cricket Club, located in the south. Schools now, and Clowne has 3. One's an infant and nursery school, which we're outside the entrance to here, and a junior school is also to be found not far away, which opened in October 1984. Then there's the Heritage High School, formerly Clowne Secondary School, which is on Booton Lane and was awarded Specialist Mathematics and Computing status in 2006. The new school has been built with much better facilities than its predecessor. There was also a mining college in Clowne as well. So absolutely, Clowne is very well served with all kinds of amenities, including a school, secondary school, lots of shops, and it's, generally speaking, one of those places that you'd love to live because it has literally got everything. Okay, what about the interesting features of this place though? What has it got historically that we can talk about? Well, to do that, to find out about that, we've got to head back into the town centre again. As well as the church, the oldest structure in the town is this medieval cross at the end of Church Street. This is both a cross and a sundial. And here's an example of Clowne being spelt without the E in certain circumstances at the old Clowne Co-op. There's a fabulous website about this linked in the description below. Far too much information to cram into one video. I recommend you go and take a look at it. The Clowne Memorial stands on the green on North Road, which was once an open space, but is now surrounded by commercial premises. This memorial is a sculpture of a soldier on a plinth in white marble, surrounded by iron railings painted in black and gold. The names of the fallen from the Great War, a total of 96, are engraved in black letters on the front panel of the plinth, and those from World War II, 33 names, are on the right-hand panel. All around the memorial is a brick structure which shows carved images, some pertaining to the life and history of the town throughout the years. Check this out as I pan across it while trying to keep my shadow out of shot. Clowne had two railway stations that served the town. These were Clowne and Barlborough Railway Station and Clowne South Railway Station. Since the closure of the railway stations, Clowne has been served by the road transport we discussed earlier. The nearest operational station now from Clowne today is in Cresswell, on the Robin Hood line between Worksop and Nottingham, via Mansfield. But what of those former stations? Well, you may not be able to travel on trains here anymore, but you can certainly see where these stations were and where the railway line was. Check this out. Okay, so on Station Road there's a bridge which crosses the former railway line. I've just had a quick look over the edge of the bridge and I can see a sign for the former Clowne and Barlborough railway station, so I imagine that there is the remnants of the old platform. Now, it is a walking trail these days. We did mention it briefly in the Elmton with Cresswell episode. I'll do that just for the Cresswell people out there who said that I mispronounced that. If we can get down there, which I assume we can because I can see a little entrance to this over there, then we're going to have a closer look at this station. Let's go. The names of the two railway stations in the town were spelt differently at different times. They both started as Clowne with no E. One was renamed twice, firstly as Clowne and Barlborough, still with no E, then as Clowne and Barlborough, this time with an E, whilst the other was renamed to Clowne South, this with an E. Where we are now is the Clowne branch line Greenway. The Clowne branch line is the line that had Clowne and Barlborough station serving it, whilst just a mere 30 yards to the south, Clowne's other station, Clowne South, was located on the Lancashire, Derbyshire and East Coast Railway on its Bayton branch. Clowne and Barlborough was opened without ceremony on the 1st of November 1888 as Clowne without the E. All passenger trains called at all stations between Mansfield and Chesterfield. The line was single track and accordingly the station had a single curving platform and typical Midland Railway country station buildings very similar to those at Bolsover Castle and Glatwell. Remarkably, the station survived into the 21st century when it was demolished in 2000. On the 4th of July 1938, the station was renamed Clowne and Barlborough, still with no E, and then renamed again by British Railways on the 18th of June 1951, this time by adding an E to become Clowne and Barlborough. British Railways went to this trouble to seek to distinguish the station from Clowne South. So how cool is this? I'm stood on the platform at the former Clowne and Barlborough station here on the Clowne branch line Greenway, and all around me I'm surrounded by various pieces of history. Look at this as well. At the back of this there's also an actual piece of railway line they've used to line the back of this station, and up here there's a massive information board about the former station. I'm going to be taking a few shots of that, and as if that wasn't enough, the old signal is still here, and if I hop down onto where the line used to be, you can see there are two railway bridges which are still in decent nick as well. I'll be taking a couple of shots of those. This is fantastic, I have to admit. This has got to be one of the greatest things I think I've ever found whilst doing TVI. Initially the service here was of 3 trains each way, with a market day extra on a Wednesday and a Saturday evening, eastbound only. No service was ever provided on a Sunday. By 1922, 5 trains a day, Monday to Saturday, plied the route, but this was the high water mark. By 1952, only 1 train each way, Monday to Friday, served Clowne and Barlborough, time to suit schools. It ran eastwards from Chesterfield in the morning as far as Elmton and Cresswell, but was extended unadvertised to Shirebrook West during term time. This was reversed in the afternoon, starting unadvertised from Shirebrook West during term time and from Elmton and Cresswell on the public timetable. The station's goods facilities closed in July 1960, leaving its sole purpose for excursions such as football matches and summer Saturday holiday traffic, notably from Radford to Blackpool North. That called for the last time northbound on the 11th of August 1962, returning southbound the following Saturday. The last steam train to use the line was a non-stop enthusiast special on the 16th of October 1965, and this train also traversed the Doe-Lee branch. Light engine movements and intermittent freight trains continued over the Clowne branch until the early 1990s, when an underground fire threatened to undermine the line. As for Clowne South, it was closed to regular timetable passenger traffic in September 1939, although summer weekend excursions continued until 1964. You know, there are many historical sites throughout this country, and many that we will be visiting, but how many of them can you actually say you are walking on a piece of history that defined an area effectively? Because that's really what the Clowne branch line Greenway did. It was so important for the people around here, for the people of Bolsover, and now obviously it's a walking route. It's completely free to come and visit. You don't have to pay to come and see it. It's just amazing. I'm loving every minute of this. Clowne South's booking hall was substantial and stood on top of the bridge straddling the two tracks, with ramps down to the platforms. The station had a substantial goods shed. The clue is in the name too. The station business centre, together with the adjoining Orchid Noir beauty parlour, goes some way to pointing you in the direction of both the former station building and its booking hall. As mentioned before, at the beginning of the 19th century, the inhabitants of Clowne worked in agriculture. If they weren't doing that, they would be mining the shallow coal seams. Others were employed at the mills, which made candlewick, sacking and sailcloth. During the Industrial Revolution, Clowne grew exponentially, swallowing the neighbouring villages of Hickingwood and Markland and becoming a mining town. The sinking of the 1,000-foot deep mine Southgate Colliery in 1877 brought in workers from elsewhere. At its peak, it employed 400 men and produced 600 tonnes of coal per day. At the end of the 19th century, rows of Victorian terraced houses were built to house the mining families. This growth left a visible mark on the town, as you might expect, but these days the colliery has of course disappeared. What it brought was the school, the terraced housing and the railways. The colliery would survive a fire in 1920 but closed in 1929 after the pit flooded. On Station Road, not far away from the Clowne branch line Greenway, is this memorial site to the colliery and the workers who gave their lives in the pursuit of coal in this part of Bolsover. Part of this memorial is built from bricks that were found at a nearby industrial unit, which occupies the site of the colliery these days, Penny Hydraulics Limited. And if we're talking interesting features of Clowne, perhaps the sign itself as you enter the town should get a mention, as it shows perfectly the history of the town, with 3 coal miners above a winding wheel with the name of Clowne written upon it. Okay, it's about time you guys had a picture bit. Here it comes for the parish of Clowne. Okay, to finish this one off, I've come to the north of Clowne to an area called Harlesthorpe or Harlesthorpe. I'm not quite sure which way to pronounce it. It's about the only area really I've not covered in this video so far. And I'm on a park. Here's the park. And this is apparently the home of Clowne's football team, Clowne Wanderers FC, which is a bit strange because, as you can see, there's no goalposts up at the minute. We are in November. You would have thought the goalposts would be up by now. Don't know whether they take them down for the summer, but they're not here for whatever reason. It's marked on the map as being where they play anyway, and over there looks to be the changing rooms, so that would make a bit of sense, but I don't know. Maybe that's one for you Clowne locals to confirm, but certainly right here is where it's marked on Google Maps as the home of Clowne Wanderers. Brilliant. And speaking of wandering around Clowne, hope you've enjoyed my little wander around this town. I've got one more parish to visit in the district of Bolsover, and it's the one that gives it its name, and that is Old Bolsover, and that's where I'm going right now, and I'll see you next week when I cover that one. But for now, this has been the parish of Clowne, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.